What's good, party people? This is According to the Woods, and I have the honor and privilege to be talking with the West Coast sensation that's sweeping the nation. He is a Bay Area staple, and he's slamming and jamming for you, not just you, but everybody next to you. He's the one and only Jherri Giggolo. What's going on, my man?
Oh my goodness! That's an introduction, man. That's a better introduction than I got on Saturday night for Fist Combat, but that's another story. I'm just kidding. No, that guy was great too, but you're better.
Oh,
How
I
you doing,
appreciate it.
everyone? I'm very thrilled to be here. Very excited, very happy to have this moment to talk to my great friend Adam right now. And yeah, man, let's get rocking and rolling.
Hell, hell yes, man. But I mean, uh, I got it. You're wearing the shirt, and I
I am.
saw that in the midst of your travels to San Diego for Fist Combat, that
Mm,
you saw the sidewalk. I went like
I
maybe
did.
2 weeks beforehand. But
Nice.
Eddie, yeah, Eddie Van Halen. I mean, that was, I mean, literally like 10 minutes away from me, from where I
Oh,
am right
cool.
now. Yeah, Pasadena and
Oh,
that particular sidewalk. But how much did Eddie Van Halen and Van Halen period influence you, not just as a
oh.
wrestler, but just as a person?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, my first taste of the mighty Van Halen was watching the movie Better Off Dead with John Cusack and that scene where the burger comes to life
Yeah,
and it totally starts rocking and rolling. It's playing Everybody Wants Some, and I thought it was great, and I had no idea being a child then what like who Van Halen really was. My mom's a big rock and roller, so she would bump, Van Halen in the car, and I think she had one album which was I think Van Halen 2 on vinyl growing up. But that was like called the Wild Ones. Um, I think that it's called the Wild Ones, and
yeah,
do you know you remember what I'm talking about then? Okay.
yeah,
So, yeah, and then the music score was made by Eddie Van Halen and his brother Alex. They did a
yeah.
couple of the songs for that. Uh, and so, just growing up, in California and that 80s rock and roll vibe and the scene. I mean, it just goes in hand. I think, you think California, you think LA, you think rock and roll party, Van Halen automatically jumps to mind, so um, great times, great music, influential, not just like wrestling and music, but just life, man, influential in life. Whenever I've been the most happiest in my life, Van Halen's playing in the background. When I've been the most sad, they're there, right there to cheer me up. Um, all the moods they hit so many moods, and it's not like, people. It's different because we're people of color, so we
Yeah.
kind of get pigeonholed into like, oh, you should be listening to like this music, oldies, or Spanish music or hip hop, rap.
Yeah.
But there's something about that music that I was like, oh my gosh, this is my music. This is for me. So big influence, just all around. Um, Fuck, it sucks still that he passed away. Fighting cancer. It sucks it came back. It came back many times, a couple times, and
Yeah.
but this time around was just too much, and it's a shame. But I was so happy that I got to see the shrine. I got to see the cement engraved, Van Halen sign right there. That was awesome. Uh, Such a smart guy to do that,
Yeah.
knowing, and he knew he was going to be a megastar,
Yeah.
but to do that, it's like, screw the Walk of Fame. I'm going to make my own Walk of Fame right here around the corner from my house. And someday, 40 years later, people are going to be coming to visit it and all that stuff. And I think that's just the genius of who Edward Van Halen really was. He He's amazing. Was amazing. So
One
yeah.
thousand percent. And I actually, I drove, to the old house, and I went in the alley, right? And I mean, a similar kind of shrine that kind of erected on the sidewalk of the house. But I
Oh
mean,
wow.
yeah, but I went to where the magic happens, as they say, right? I went
Yeah.
in the alley out back, and I just stood just to get the energy from the garage. That's it,
That's
because
so
that's
crazy.
that's where it happened, right? That's
Yeah.
where all of the sessions, the early sessions happen, and you know,
Everything.
yeah. So I wanted to be like right there, because as a creative person, much like yourself, to, I mean, in terms of whether you like the music or not, you had to appreciate the amount of creativity that came out of there. So again,
Oh yeah.
if if you're any sort of creative type, just to kind of feel that energy, and like what it must be to kind of transport again 40 years behind, where
Yeah.
two kind of kids are going like, what if you know Eddie stayed on drums and Alex stayed on guitar? There's a litany of things
Who
that happen
knows?
right there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just
I
think
don't
it's
think
amazing.
it would have been what it was, to be honest.
Yeah.
But and that's another great why I love Van Halen so much is because me and my brother, my younger brother Isaiah, um, he and I both play music, and we're both at the same age, trying to do stuff besides getting in trouble outside of the house. So I remember when my brother was like 13, he just randomly told himself, he's like, I'm going to learn how to play the bass, and no, he got into punk rock really early on. Dead Kennedys, the Misfits, Ramones, you know Jello Biafra, man, Rancid, all those bands, Poison Ivy, Operation Ivy, excuse me. um, he got into it really hard. And so he was like, I'm going to play the bass and start a band. And I was like, yeah, right, fool. You don't even know how to tie your shoes, you know? So, but honest to God, man, he convinced my dad, which is my dad is back in the day was very tight with money. He saved everything, he kept the receipts. He was not like, I'm going to buy you a bass. I'm not going to buy you a bass only for it to be in the garage 2 weeks later, getting dust. So, he was very hesitant, but you know what he's like? He's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy this guy a bass. I'm going to buy him an amp. And honestly, I got jealous. I got jealous because my brother took initiative to learn something outside of the norm. He taught
Right.
himself how to play the bass. And so I was like, coming around the bedroom, and I'm like, hey, you want to go hang out? No, man, I'm practicing. Oh, all right, cool. And then I like, hit a corner and like listen. I'm like, wow, this guy's not bad. So I just remember, I remember one night I was like watching MTV, and it was like really late, and it was still at the time where it was like Yo MTV Raps. God, what was the other one? The metal one, MTV.
Oh yeah, Headbangers Ball. Come on.
Headbangers Ball, yeah. And then
Ricky
they would
Ratman.
also then they would also do sometimes where they like throwback videos of like just videos from back in the day, but this was like around like 2 a.m. Like the time where like nobody's really watching TV. Anyways, on MTV there was this video that I had never really seen before, and it was the Beatles playing "Get Back" on the rooftop of Abbey
Yes.
Roads. And I just remember, I remember watching that. I was like half awake, half asleep on the couch, because that's where I used to always pass out was the couch. I don't know why. It was the most comfiest, better than my bed and whatnot. So I remember watching Ringo just wearing this big coat, big chops, the Hulk Hogan, Fu Manchu,
Yeah.
um, big ass nose, just like me, and he was just playing the snare, banging along to Get Back. And I was like, oh shit, I always hear this song because, it's one of my mom's favorites. I just never seen the video. Anyways, that triggered me wanting to play an instrument. And I was like, I want to play the drums and I want to be like Ringo. You know what I mean? I don't know why. Originally, I was like, I want to play like Ringo. And so next thing you know, I'm telling my dad, hey, I know you just bought him, my brother Isaiah, like a $400 bass. You think you got $1,100 to buy me a drum set? You know what I mean? And of course, he was like, hell no, you get a job. Okay, you get a job, and I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you halfway in the middle, and if you're serious and you save up enough money, I'll meet you halfway. We'll buy you a drum set. And so we went to our local drum set. I was walking with my friends one day after school, and I was like, "Damn it, I'm never going to get that drum set I want." And then I saw in the storefront window of this place called Bronstein Music. It's no longer around, unfortunately. There was this beautiful sunburst yellow drum set sitting at the window, man, and I was like, "Shit, that's the set of drums I want." I didn't think of color, but I didn't really care for the color. But then once I saw that sunburst orange, I was like, "That shit's coming home with me. I don't care what I gotta do." So I told my pop, I was like, "Hey, listen, here's $500. Boom." He's like, "Okay, cool." And then he told me, he's like, let's go look at this crap. And to my dad, everything's just crap. It's always been crap. Oh, what's that crap you're watching? Oh, what's that baloney? Oh shit, turn that crap off. Or you're gonna go play that crap right now. Oh man, I gotta get out of there. I don't want to hear it. So he did, man. He bought me the drum set, and right away, me and my brother just started jamming in the garage, in the garage, in our apartment, wherever we could. But it was like, then I finally started getting into like Van Halen for reals, like not just hearing some songs, but I got into like how they became, a group, and I was like, wait a second, you mean the guitarist and the drummer, they're brothers? And so that to me blew me away. I didn't know that. Back then I wasn't about names in the bands. I was just like, oh, hold on, gotta turn my light. Conserve energy here.
There you
Uh,
go.
yeah, really. So started listening to them, started getting into like their history, and I really appreciated the fact that it was two brothers, that liked the same music, that pushed each other, and me and my brothers pretty much took after them. We were just like every day we just jammed like 2-3 hours. Sometimes it made sense, sometimes it was not good. But man, just before you know it, we'd have neighbors going, you guys are getting good. You guys are getting good. It sounded like crap before, and I wanted to call the cops, but you know, you guys keep it up. You never know where it could take you. And so, then we started getting a little bit more cocky. Hey, invite friends that play instruments. Hey, you play the guitar, dude, come over. We know a few songs, a couple covers. So it just started like that. We do covers. We do riffs of people's music, and my brother, bless his heart. I mean, he tries so hard all the time to like shred and rock out. And back then, Eddie was one of his big influences. And I'd always be like, "Hey, man, learn Panama. Learn Panama. Learn Hot for Teacher." Because I was starting to learn the drums just by hearing. I never took a lesson until I was like 19. But when I was like 13, 14, I started just really concentrating, like focusing like on each part of what these musicians are playing on the drums. Like, okay, I can make out the snares playing at the two, then the beat, the bass drums hitting at the and. You got the hi-hat that's just, keeping that
Yeah.
pace, playing the eighth notes, the all the quarter notes, 16th notes, 32nd notes. And just over time, we just started rocking out. And my brother was, like I said, big punk rock fan. So he was like, "Hey, I want to start a punk band. The songs don't have to be, longer than 2 minutes." And I was like, "Great. That's like your sex life, that's goes hand in hand, punk rock." And my brother was like, "Fuck it. It's like water and ice." So we did, man. We were rocking out. And, yeah, before you know it, people were like, "Dude, you guys are fucking good." We'd throw house parties, when my pop was away. We'd rock the neighbors, people would come over and drink their beer. They'd give us beer. They'd give us drugs, whatever we want. What do you guys want? We'll go get it for you. Just keep playing. And yeah, then me and my brother started a band called, the original name of the band was Bloody Wednesday. It was like an emo kind of rock, pop, uh, whatever. I just wanted to play. I didn't care for the
Yeah.
name. I didn't care for the style. I just wanted to show my little pretty sunburst yellow drum set. We'd play El Rio. We used to play Cafe de Nord. down over there in San Francisco,
Yeah, yeah.
off Market. We used to play a place called Chemo's on Polk and Pine. We used to play all sorts of. See, about 10 years ago, there were still clubs for music. Nowadays,
Yeah.
it's all DJ, hip hop and just electronic. No
Yeah.
more bands, just because of the risk factor. I think it's just that some bands get too aggressive and rowdy and they bring a rough crowd. So they started kind of like, oh, we don't want to do that. We'll rather just have, a DJ instead of paying you guys to mess up our club, whatnot. So those were the days, man. We play, a lot of those kind of places. We played the Parkside. That was also in San Francisco, and I think that's still around. We played this place called Roosters Roadhouse in Alameda. My brother got to play Gilman with
Holy
his
shit.
other band. Yeah, my brother, he was in a band called Kulo Boca from Santa Cruz, and they opened up for the Misfits.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was like in 2010, and we played for Fear. We've opened up for Fear,
What the fuck?
Di, in Sacramento, a couple clubs out here like the Fat Cat. Just we got around. We got lucky that promoters wanted to book us, and we always had a professional sound. Like we'd always be ready. We were there always on time. We had pro gear. And sometimes, people would be like, oh, they're just another band. But I swear, after like the first song, man, people would gather up in the stage. They'd start bobbing, they'd start moshing, they'd start thrashing. And as a drummer, that shit only pumps me up even more because I'm like, these people are liking what I'm playing, so I play faster and harder. And of course, my brother would like turn around and be like, slow down, you motherfucker. Fuck. I can't hear myself anymore. Fuck. But to me, because I'm the drummer, I'm like, no, you idiot. I know what I'm doing, like
Yeah.
I'm still on time. Yeah, I've added extra fills, but it's just because we're playing live,
Yeah.
and the intensity of the energy is just getting louder, and we have to, show that we're just as badass as those other bands that we're just playing a few minutes ago. So we can't play like the record because we have some songs, we have like a SoundCloud, and we used to have an iTunes. I don't know what happened with the iTunes, but I know we're on SoundCloud. SoundCloud, the Mengs. So if you look up the Mengs, THE space and then MENGZ, you'll find all our music on there on
Uh,
SoundCloud. I don't know if SoundCloud is even a thing. Uh,
it's still a thing.
is it? Okay, cool. So we're on
Yeah.
SoundCloud. Check us out. But music is just it, man. To me, music number one in the morning, at night, throughout the day. When I'm at work, I got headphones on. It sets my mood. Like all my Instagram posts. Like I always like posting pictures, but I always set it to like lyrics to some of my favorite music and stuff. And what sucks is I'm an old soul, man. I like rhythm and blues. I like old blues. I like Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf. Man, like I grew up with like that
Bobby
kind of
Blue
stuff.
Bland and shit. Yeah.
Like I love old school R&B. I love the British Invasion. I love heavy metal. I like hip hop. I love Tupac, Biggie. Bone Thugs. I was just bumping Bone Thugs the other night. It's like, and my friend was like, "Wow, you like all genres." I'm like, "Dude, I'm a drummer. Anything with a sweet beat, I'm gonna tap my feet. It's like that's just
Yeah.
the way it is. I love jazz. I love cumbia. I love salsa, merengue. There's nothing that I don't really like. I even like the real southern like gospel kind of music, where those musicians are playing some off the wall, funky, progressive notes, but it's like you know, uh, worship music. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
these drummers have incredible chops, and I'm over here going like, holy shit, man, they're just killing it. So I mean, anything with a musical beat, yeah, I'm all about it, man. I really don't have any preference. I mean, I listen to my girl's Lady Gaga CD in the car with her when she's driving, and I'm like, damn, this Gaga it's got some good, solid music, So, like, I don't have any. I used to be one of those guys where I only listen to this, when I was like 12, 13. But then when I took formal music lessons, and my drum teacher, his name's Bob, was Bob. I don't know if he's still around. But he would be like, "Lo, listen to Stevie Wonder, listen to the Who, listen to Janis, listen to the Grateful Dead, listen to just everything, Santana,
Yeah.
Malo, all those bands, and everybody's kind of influenced me. And I love, like, I'll never stop playing for sure. Once I started playing drums, I knew I'll never stop playing drums for the rest of my life. So yeah.
No, I think that's perfect, and I love especially the fact that you grew up in San Francisco and are a fan of the Who, and I mean one of the most, I guess, infamous moments in Who history
Oh
was at the
yeah.
Cow Palace with none other than Keith Moon, passing out. I mean, quaaluded the fuck out, and and that's
I
just
would too.
yeah,
If you give me that spotlight, sure, I'll do it too. Why not? I want them to remember me. I want them to keep talking about me. I mean, Keith Moon's been dead for like 30 something years, right? And
yeah,
we're still talking about him today. He's still very influential. I remember bumping up, um, gosh, Who's Next on vinyl. We found it at the Salvation Army for like a nickel, and we had a vinyl player then, and we just, me and my brother and our few friends that were like doing, shrooms and whatever stuff,
yeah.
weed,
Wayne
whatever,
Brady, fuck yeah,
rocking out. And I just remember, when Baba O'Reilly came on, and that keyboard of Pete playing, and then you got who, oh my goodness, like Who's Next, and that one song, My Wife.
yeah,
Those are some songs that like stand out to me. And then of course Who Are You came out
yeah,
afterwards, and that drum fill that Moon plays in Who Are You. I sometimes warm up, and I'll have to share a video of you,
yeah.
to you, with me warming up. But I warm up
Please.
sometimes playing just the section where they come back at towards the end of the song, where that big epic, fill of drums, do 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 do, and then it goes do 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 boom boom boom, and then bam bam bam. I like rock out, like I pretend Pete's in my ear, and he's swinging that wrist and his arm, and I moon the loon, for that hot minute. But like,
Yeah.
those are the things that turn me on. Like I'll forever be, embedded and grateful to listening to that kind of music, and being open minded, to that. And I don't know, I'm an old soul, man. Like I really am. The Cream, still one of my favorite music that I listen to.
Exactly.
Ginger Baker. I'm all about them. I'm like a fanboy for the drummers. All
Yeah.
those drummers from the past, they touch my soul. They make me want to play, harder, louder, faster, better, and people are always shocked. They're like, "You play the drums? No way. How are you?" And I'm very like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm not, yeah, I'm not special about it." But, you know, every now and then I do like to, like, all right, once I sit behind the kit, I look around, I'm like, tap a little. I play like I don't know what I'm doing. This is a secret. I play like I don't know what I'm doing, and then before you know it, I'm doing those paradiddle, drum
Yeah.
syncopated fills. I'm playing like John Bonham and shit, and then people are like, "Oh, I thought you said you didn't know how to play," and I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I really don't. I just from what I've always heard, it's like that's just, I just picked it up. So it's weird, because like I said, I took my first lesson when I was like 19, and even then I was like, my drum teacher was like, you have a good ear, you just need to get disciplined. And he taught me some discipline, he taught me some tricks, he taught me how to always, you know give everybody that you're playing with that respect, where you let them lead the way, then the other guy should take a little bit over, and then you are just in the background playing to everybody. And you got to have that open minded, like that. It's not all about you, because as a drummer, it's easy to just say, screw this, I'm going to play how I want to play. But you have to play to who you're playing with. You know, I've played with some guys that are amazing musicians, and then I've played with beginners that are just starting out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how it used to be. And so I have to tone deaf it a little bit, bring it down, you know, and then build their confidence through my playing. And it turns out always awesome. Like I'm always like, you know, told like, wow, thank you so much. You really helped me, you know, get better or get this beat down or this rhythm. I was having a hard time. But I always tell people, just do you, man. I'm going to just be in the background. You know, I'm just going to be tapping away. But you do you, you add whatever you want. I'll find you and we'll make something cool, you know? And so I'm looking forward to getting back into playing with more people now that I've relocated to Sacramento. I've met some people that are musicians out here, and so we just got to square, you know, the time to make it happen. And I have a studio up in the mountains now where all that stuff's going to be going down. So I'm excited. You know, quarantine hasn't been bad for me. It's been pretty good for the most part. You know, I've gotten back to painting more and playing more drums. You know, wrestling is kind of taken a back seat because of COVID, um, but you know, it's what it is, man. I think quarantine's taken a bit of everybody's soul these last couple months. It's just we have to just keep, you know, swimming and not, you know, letting it drown us and depress us. So, you know, that's just how I've been dealing with it. But I love it. You know, music is my soul. Music is my
No,
life, and I
no,
love it.
absolutely. I love that, and especially, I mean, I we were kind of talking off air. My dad was a street performer at Fisherman's Wharf in San
Awesome,
Francisco, you know, and
awesome.
that's kind of been my deal. And seeing him play, you know, in the same kind of festivals as like Tony, and
Oh yeah,
hearing like, oh, I mean, there was times where like Prince would come and essentially, you know, he'd play like the what then was the Oakland Arena, and
yeah.
now it's like Oracle. And
Oracle. Yeah.
every time that happened, this lady would, you know, kind of show up on our doorstep and go like, "Hey, we've got tickets for you."
Wow,
I
wow.
didn't know until after. Well, that lady was Sheila E.
Oh,
And
no, I was gonna, you know, I was thinking, I was like, is he gonna say this chick's Sheila E? Dude, that's awesome. She
yes,
is a
because
badass.
my dad actually, that was Uncle Ross to her. My dad was because
Wow.
when he got out of the military in '71, they dropped him off in Mission Beach, and Indiana boy, you know, he kind of hitchhiked all the way up to San Francisco because he heard
Wow.
about the scene that was going on and what
Yeah.
have you. All the musicians were there,
Yeah.
and once he got there, I mean, he was playing with like, you know, Pete Escovedo Sr. So he
So
actually
cool.
changed, you know, like Sheila E. and Pete Jr.'s diapers, you know, in between
Wow.
sessions and shit like
Wow.
that. So that
That's
was Uncle Ross
amazing.
to them. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
or I mean, there was a time even here, you know, when we had relocated to, you know, LA, and we're at the Rock Walk, you know, in Hollywood, the Guitar Center,
Oh
and
yes.
yeah, and he gets a tap on the shoulder, and you know, he kind of turns over, and it's like me and my sister with him, and you know, turn over and like Roscoe, where the fuck have you been? Because he did his little ditty that he's always done, and we turn around, and it's fucking Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills,
No
Nash and Young.
way.
Yeah,
Wow.
because they played and you know went on a
That's
psychedelic
so
journey
cool.
together back
Yeah.
in the
Hell yeah.
'70s and shit like
That's
that.
so
So
cool.
yeah, so I mean,
That's so cool.
I totally love what you're saying. Now, I know you gotta go. I
No,
think we
no,
need to
no. It's
do.
cool. No, it's cool. We're
Okay.
good. No, we're good. You know, adding one thing, I seen Sheila live at Yoshi's in Oakland
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah,
4 years ago, and she's such a badass musician. I mean, not just a musician, but like a show person, not a showman, you know, but she is an entertainer. You know, her
yeah,
whole family's in the entertainment business, but I mean, at one point she even got off from playing the timbales. She walked around and did like this big conga line with all these fans. She like was picking people up randomly. I didn't want to get up. I was like, no, I'm too scared. She didn't come around our area, but I was just like, no, I just want to drink and eat my sushi and watch this performance. And it's what an impression she made on me. After that, I think a little bit while after that, I was like, screw that. I'm going to get some LPs. I'm going to get some timbales, and I'm going to just bang on them like, like it's no one's business. Very influential. I mean, what a great drummer for Prince, Sheila E.
Yeah.
She really, played the drum set, not just like bits of it. She played that motherfucking drum
Everything.
set, double bass, the whole shebang. Her setup is amazing. I mean, one of the amazing setups I've ever seen on a drum set, and it's a chick playing, and not just a chick, but it's like an Escovedo chick, and she's just such a badass.
Yeah.
And her club is still in San Francisco off. Oh man, it's off like in the Fillmore, and
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
it's called Sheila's, and and I don't know how they're doing right now, but like a couple years ago, it was cracking, man. I mean, you go there Friday night, Saturday night, and I mean that place was lit. So I know that's still her club. For sure. So I mean those are the dreams, man. Those are the things I would love to do. Is like, get famous off something, or save money, build something, and then own a club, and then randomly make appearances. Just oh wow,
Yeah.
did you see who's cleaning the bathroom right now? That was Jherri Giggolo, man. Oh shit, and just like, hey man, keep my toilets clean, and then just go back and go enjoy the show or whatnot. But yeah, man, music's life, and music transcended into everything for me. Music transcended into wrestling, into my art, into my lifestyle. Yeah, music is the soul. Keeps my heart beating. So I love it, man. But I love everything that I like to do. It's all like goes hand in hand with each other. It's kind of cool.
No,
So
it absolutely is cool, and that's the cool thing about you. I mean, and one of the people that I mean, we met a few years back at Bumps and Bruises here in LA at the Boomtown Brewery. But I mean, right off the bat, like we fucking vibed and shit like that. And I mean, I you were so fucking cool that I didn't even realize like, ah, you're a wrestler until you started fucking donning the paint and shit like that, going to war, and you had this magnificent robe. I mean, my goodness, like the beadery and shit like that. I mean, of all the years that I've watched wrestling, I mean, that is probably one of the most magnificent fucking ensembles that I've ever seen. And you went and fucking lit the fucking. I mean, whatever people thought they were getting, like you fucking transcended even that. And I gotta ask, like, how'd you get into professional wrestling?
Same thing with music. Same thing. My mother gave me that as well. She would secretly watch Saturday night's main events when they would come on NBC, and she'd watch it, sometimes on the Spanish channel because they'd always replay it on the Spanish channel with
Yeah,
Spanish subtitles. Even though she's very fluent in English, she just watch it. She liked the way the guys looked. That was
yeah,
it. She loved the bodies. She loved the muscles. She loved just the sweat, and that was it. That was my mom's thing. She still has her favorites: the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, because he had, in her words, the best ass in wrestling. And who was our other favorite? Oh, Ravishing Rick Rude. Oh, my mother speaks with like an accent. She'd be like, oh, ese Rick Rude. Oh, his body. Oh, I wish your dad would look like that, and she would always bury my dad back then. But I mean, those were her two favorites: Rick Rude, Davy Boy Smith. That was it for my mom. She loved them both. Like, she was heartbroken when me and my brother told they died. What? No,
wow,
But
yeah,
mom was very influential. Like we'd follow her to the bedroom because she'd be making so much noise. Come on, get up! Oh, don't do that! What are you doing? Get up! Fight him! Come on! We're like, dude, what the hell is mom doing? And then we sneak and we're like, what the hell is that on TV? And before you know it, we're just sitting there watching, and then me and my brother are just like, what are they doing? Oh my gosh. Wow. Did that just happen? And we're just like, little kids, so impressionable. And then, of course, mom would always tell us, now, you don't tell your dad we watch this, okay? This is just what we do. He doesn't need to know. Because my dad would be like, what? You guys are watching what? what is she should be doing something instead of sitting on her ass watching TV. You know, my dad was like Archie Bunker in the way. You know, he was like
Jesus, yeah.
my dad's a three dads. He's Archie Bunker, he's Al Bundy, and he's Red Fox. You know, he's those three guys. You know, hey dad, I got an A in my report. Go, oh, that's cool. Where's my bottle of wine? You know, back in the day it was like, where's my glass? You know, hey, dad, can I go outside? Yeah, that's cool. You know, he just wants to watch TV, be left alone, you know. But he would slowly find out that my boys are getting into wrestling because we break everything in the house. Oh,
Uh,
what happened to the sofa? Oh, I don't know. It came like that, you know. It came like that, and then he would put two and two together. He'd be like, "These fucking guys are wrestling, and their mom is letting them." And we broke like two of their beds that they used to fuck on, you know. Like we broke
yeah.
their beds. We broke one time. We had glass mirrors in one of our apartments that we lived in back then, and my brother ends up shoving me in one of them, shattered the glass. How do you explain that? You know, we didn't have an explanation. We're just like, fuck, you know. Our little baby sister did it. You
Yeah.
know, of course,
Yeah.
she couldn't walk or talk, and so we'd always get in trouble. You know, my dad would always threaten us: no more wrestling, no more this, no more. I'm gonna throw away all your wrestling toys. You know, anything wrestling, I want it out of the house. He was very against it for a long time because, you know, it's like he's an old school guy from a third world country. He didn't see any
Yeah.
merit in pro wrestling. He thought it was the stupidest thing, you know. And I wish he was like
Yeah.
more open minded back then. But every now and then he would catch my dad slipping because he would be like, "Oh, what was Hulk Hogan doing tonight?" And we're like, "Hulk Hogan? How do you know
Oh.
that name?" You know,
Yeah.
oh, he's like, I know names. He's like, I know the guys you watch, you know. And then he'd always be like, "You ever wonder why they get punched in the face and they don't get bruises?" And we're like, "Oh man, what are you trying to
Fucking
say, Pop?
expose it.
What are you trying to
Yeah.
say, Pop?" So he was always like that. But he, you know, after a while, he just knew that these guys are never going to stop watching this stuff. No matter how much I tell them stop watching it or how much I take away the cable, they always find a way to watch wrestling. We'd always go to friends' houses, watch the pay-per-views. You know, we
Yeah.
still we still bought the toys. You know, we bought the magazines. You know, we'd go rent the videos at the store, play the video games. It was in our lives, you know. And you know, after a while, my dad just gave up. He's like, you know what, fuck it. These guys are ducks. These guys are always going to be ducks. You know, and that's just life. You know, but it wasn't until I told my pop, hey, I'm gonna go pro. I'm gonna do it for reals. He's like, yeah, right. You know, and and he's never been to a match of mine, but
Wow.
he does watch it on YouTube, and every now and then he'll see, you know, my posts and videos online, and I wouldn't say he's proud of me, but he does tell his friends, you know, oh, my son's a wrestler. You know, my son's on. He's wrestled for WWE. You know, he's been at WrestleMania. Like he tells his friends that, and then they go, wow, your son's awesome. And then he's like, yeah, he's all right. You know, my kid's all right. You
buries
know,
you. Buries you still. Holy
yeah,
shit.
he's my dad's always gonna bury me. Like I honestly, like I've got a thick skin because of my brothers, my siblings, but my dad, man, he's the ultimate hater, bro. There's nobody that's a bigger hater in my world than my dad, and it's not a bad thing. I don't take it like,
No.
oh, woe is me. I get fueled by that. You know, that gives me like an extra boost in what I want to do with myself. You know, because
Yeah,
I know that
exactly.
he's secretly rooting for me. You know,
Yeah.
I know he is. He's not going to be like, fuck, my son's a wrestler, and that's, you know, garbage. But he's rooting for me. You know, he wants me to you know, go to Wrestle Mexico and show all those little Mexican guys what a real Salvadorian is like, you know,
Yeah.
and so, you know, that's still a dream of mine, doing Mexico and getting, you know, some kind of exposure. I don't know. We'll see, you know. But in the time being, I'm wrestling, you know, locally. I just did a show for Fist Combat on Saturday. You know, I did tell you that I was going to do the interview with the new television Fist title on my shoulder. And, you know, unfortunately, things didn't go according to plan. Uh, but that's okay because I'm still here. I'm still smiling. I believe there's a rematch somewhere down the line that I might cash in on. So I am very happy for my opponent Eddie Islas. He whooped me fair and square. It was two baby faces, doing their thing. Very hard to do that, but I've somehow I don't let those titles of babyface versus babyface get to me. I just go out there and work, and work the crowd and feed off that energy that they give me. And I had a really good fun match. First time wrestling Eddie Islas. I don't know if you're familiar with Eddie Islas. He's from
Yeah,
SoCal. He's a badass. He's
yeah,
a
he is.
guy. He's a very underrated wrestler, and he's a very, very, very kind individual. And he's got so much heart. And we all know the luck of the draw, how it is backstage. You've been backstage. You know
Yes.
what it's like. When they tell you up, down. I've never taken any of that stuff to heart. I I was more than happy to do the honors for Eddie, putting him over. I actually get more of a kick uh, putting guys over, than actually getting over, if that makes sense. Like because I feel like how you described me when you first met me, that the minute you saw me, you're like, whoa, holy shit, what. I got to watch this guy. This guy looks amazing, and to me that's kind of like all I want to just go out there. I don't want people to be like, oh, just another average guy. My pageantry from head to toe, like I go out there looking a certain way because to me it's an image. There's an image behind the pro wrestling business, and that's what got me into liking pro wrestling was the pageantry, the image, the outfits, the music, the glitz, the glamour. It wasn't so much the wrestling holds. It was more of the this. That's what
Yeah.
really got me into wrestling. It was the Macho Man
Oh
spitting
yeah.
it was the shaking of the ropes. It was the towel and spitting the gum and smacking it perfect. Yeah, and it was
I
the
still do that. I still do that.
who doesn't?
Right?
You should always do that when you're done with your gum. Spit it and smack it. But that's what got me into wrestling. It wasn't the wrestling holds, it was the gimmicks, and it goes back to music. Like when I decided I want to be a wrestler, I wanted to have a certain look. Now we're gonna break kayfabe a little bit, but when I first broke out, my first gimmick, and still to this day is I still wrestle under a mask under Kakameng. I work both gimmicks. I'm Jherri Gigolo for some promotions, and other promotions just want me as Kakameng, the Latin Salvadorian, mullet having, badass from the pandillas of El Salvador, and so when I first broke into the business, the first thing I was told was like, "Hey, man, you smile a lot. You're too, like you're happy. We're gonna put you under a hood." And I was like, "That's great," because I wanted to work under a hood at first, just in case I ever come up with that second gimmick. I can work, twice in one night, and nobody will know. Hey, that was the same guy. Unless they really pay attention to my body, and they're like, "Wait a second, we saw that guy 30 minutes ago." Getting his ass kicked by another guy. Now he's getting his ass kicked by another guy. So, you know, but the Jherri Gigolo character, when you first saw it with the hat and the glasses, I mean, to be honest, I mean, though, I took that from Elton John. Like
Ah, that makes sense.
that was Elton John's influence right there. Easily, Elton John. I remember, I'm from the Bay Area, and I wanted to, to kind of showcase the glam rock, the heavy metal, face painted, give props to the people in the community of the the gay and lesbian community down there, and I kind of wanted just the shock and awe feeling, and so I said, yeah, I'm going to put makeup on and paint my lips and wear very colorful outfits and crazy hats and a outlandish robe, and see what people think of it, and if they call it names or whatever, I'm still going to keep rocking it because it makes me happy doing it, And I have people in my ear all the time at shows that are like, name calling and whatnot. And I don't care. I like that. I'm like, oh, he just called me a, in Spanish it's culero,
Yeah,
whatever. But you know what that means. I'm
yeah,
not going to repeat it in English, but
right.
they be saying it in English, and I'm just like, I don't care. I just flip the hair, blow them a kiss, and they, they kind of like, whoa. But once they see me working and they see how that, damn, this guy can go,
Yeah,
I always win people over eventually. It takes them a minute, to get warmed up, but they eventually always come up to me and go, man, you were dope, like you're great, you're awesome, keep it up, I would love to see you somewhere else, on TV. Some like, people have told me like your gimmick is TV ready, and
yeah, you are.
I had a lot of hope this year to land some pretty promising gigs with wrestling. It slowed down a little bit, but now we're picking back up, and I have a couple of cool places that I'm going to probably be working at next year. Because I just finally told myself, you know what, this gimmick isn't going to sell itself. You got to really, you got to really show it and put more effort into letting this manifest and grow. So yeah, next year will be pretty good. Landing some pretty good, promising gigs and stuff like that. And I love the character. I love it. I love Jerry. I think he's a prima donna, diva, devo. Uh, everything that I really am. Outside of wrestling, that's who Jerry is. Also, he's just flamboyant. It's been a great ride the last couple of years being that character, so I do want to see it grow. I don't want to see it just locally for the rest of my life. I'd like to see it have a good run, and maybe just get one match on NXT or AEW now is the thing. And Mexico, of course, and then there's
Yeah,
championship, there's the NWA, and I
yeah,
have many friends that are all over there and stuff. And they always tell me the same thing. God, that Jerry character, man, that's, don't quit on that. I'm like, no, that's never going to quit. It's who I am. Unfortunately the hair is sitting up on top. It's such a mess right now. I really am I'm so embarrassed by how messy my hair is right now. So I put it up. It's just chilling on top in the hat. Because when I'm not doing the gimmick or being when I'm myself, I always have the hair up in the thing. It's just how it is. So I'll get one day. I think I'm gonna chop it off and just get like extensions, and then just put it on when it's time for the show, and just say, "Hey, easy on the hair, man. Watch the hair," But I really
if
can't.
you get
So,
if you get into Hogan territory where you start
oh
putting
no.
implants, I that's where I, as a friend, will pull you aside and yell like, "Bro, this is not no this." You know?
I feel it, man. Gonna grab the nose and smack it, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
100%. Because I mean, everybody's got to have that friend, like before you start to like, I get drunk, get high, and we're like, I'm gonna tattoo my face. Like, no, I am that friend to be like, dude,
Yeah,
no,
good.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Real
forget it.
friends don't let friends cut their mullets off.
No,
So,
hell
hell
no,
no,
dude.
man.
Business in the front, party in the back, always,
All
100%.
day. Yeah, yeah.
Now,
I
in
believe
terms
it.
of yeah, absolutely. Now, and Jazz Beats, a talented interviewer, podcaster, and musician in his own right, says that's so true. What he said in terms of music,
Oh yeah,
music is
yeah.
everything.
It is, man.
100%.
It is 100%, man. It really is.
Brian Pillman had extensions. Ruben
Wow.
Garcia, wow,
Did
holy
not know
shit,
that. Mind
no,
blown.
yeah, holy
Crazy.
shit. He's one of my favorites, and I mean,
Me
what
too. Me too.
yeah,
Flying Brian, one of my favorites. Back in the day, man, it was Flying Brian, Sting. I love the Z. I like the Z Man a little bit, not too
yeah,
much,
yeah,
but I did like the Z Man. Tom Zank, Luger, Flair, the Horseman. Man, I mean, WCW back then. Ron Simmons, Vader. For
shit,
me as a
yeah.
kid, like, whoa, they were dope, man, and WWF, of course, did their own thing, but yeah, I loved watching Brian Pillman, man. His song, his entrance song is one of my favorites, man. It was just starts with the drums and then it just cranks into like speed guitar, very
Yeah,
rocking. It's very 80s, very LA feel,
I would even
Um,
say it was like Van Halen influence,
it very,
a bit.
very much so, man. Very much so. And that was another thing. I keep going. That was another thing. But with wrestling, what got like wrestling and music go hand in hand for me because I remember listening to those rock their entrances, and one of my favorite things when I first started playing was like, dude, let's cover the Rockers theme song, man. My brother was like, hell yeah. Yeah, we do
Yeah.
like the Rockers, LOD, Brutus Beefcake, Owen Hart, the Hitman, Shawn Michaels, man, Hogan. We do the Warrior. We like Sting back in the day. Sting, where it was like for the vocals. That one song that Sting had was like down, down, down,
Yes.
and then it was like do 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 bounce, 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 like that. So
Yeah.
we
Surfer
we're
thing.
yeah, dude. And so like music, like just music and wrestling was just like for us, just it just went hand in hand. So yeah, man, it's a wild ride, and I don't know. We'll see where it goes next, but those things
I
will never leave my life.
I think you're. I mean, the future is so bright for Jerry. And
Oh,
I mean,
that's awesome. I
no,
appreciate that, man. I appreciate you saying that. I
but
really
we.
do,
I
man.
mean. I mean, not just the gimmick, but the person. Like, I mean, especially in 2020, where things are just like all over the place. It's like if you stacked a bunch of like I don't know poker chips and whatever, and it's just like somebody just coming in and they're like, "Ah," you know. That's what it's been. But I mean,
Yeah,
I think the world needs a little bit of Jerry Gigolo in their life, and their lives
I
would be
agree.
all that much better. And I mean, I too believe in that, 100%.
Yeah.
There you go. No,
Two of my favorite people right there, Adam Woods and Jerry Gigolo, man. How
hundred
about
percent.
that?
I mean, I'll always make the hot tag to you. I'll get my heat and then
You
hot.
better, man, because I'm waiting. I'm like right there. Come on, man. Come on, man. Give it to
Bam!
me. Bam. Here we go.
That
Watch
is.
watch the fists.
Hell yes. Now, I mean, obviously, I mean, Fist Combat on Saturday. Shout out to them down in San Diego. But I mean, in terms of some of the favorite moments that you've had in your career, what are whether it be place, atmosphere, what have you? Where is your favorite place to wrestle thus far?
Man, I man, favorite place that I've wrestled so far, with an audience or without an audience.
Either or.
Okay, so there's one time that I got to try out for WWE, in a WWE ring, in Fresno, California, for SmackDown, and I wrestled another local guy from the Bay Area, and we had like a 5 minute match only in front of the agents and all the boys, and so that was probably my favorite because I got a lot of great comments, feedback, throughout the day, from the big names, so that was probably the highlight, of my life, being in the WWE ring in the middle of an empty arena, but just having the agents there, and you had Sarah Del Rey right there in front of me, looking at me, and like I just was like, what do I do? Like, do I go out and try to, harass her and get thrown off, or do I wrestle, then harass her, and then get beat up by Cesaro, or whatnot, and then get thrown out? But yeah, that was a highlight of my life. Wrestling, as Kakameng, I've wrestled Rikishi, I've wrestled the Honky Tonk Man, the Godfather, Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal. I've wrestled with Super Crazy. I've tag teamed with Super Crazy. So like my journey has as a wrestler started in 2008, wrestling at Big Time Wrestling with Jason Styles as my trainer, alongside, right next to me, the first day when I first started was also the first day that Bailey started, with us, and she was just fresh out of high school, and we became great friends ever since. So seeing her manifest and grow into who the woman she is in wrestling is beautiful and stuff, and very inspirational to me, and such. But that's where I got my first break, was Big Time Wrestling. So I'm very indebted to them. I wrestled some big names for them. As Jherri Giggolo, I wrestled Hornswoggle. I wrestled Joey Ryan. Uh, uh, who else did I wrestle? Darren Young. I worked
Yeah.
Darren Young. I mean,
No.
it was a year ago, almost to the day, on the 18th of October last year. I wrestled Darren Young, and he was like, "Man, He was like, "You're great, bro." He's like, he really liked what I was up to doing. He gave me a lot of feedback, a lot of good pointers. Don't he's like, don't fret, man. Some guys, it takes them 15, 20 years to get that big push. Some guys, not so much.
Yeah.
But he goes, don't quit. Just don't quit on yourself. Always try to get better. Always work out in the ring. Always work out in your personal life. And still to this day, we lightheartedly touch bases on Instagram, whatnot. I got to train and wrestle and do a seminar for Evolve last year. In the beginning of the year, I did one December 2018, and then I also went back in January 2019, and I got to meet Gabe Sapolsky, and he was very also influential, and he was very full of great ideas and words and encouragement. Um, that I'm gonna forever take, down the road and stuff like that. I'm always trying to get better, man. I'm trying to do more seminars when they start to pop up again. I feel like that's the only way you're gonna really get it is if
Yeah.
you want to get better or get something, recognized by some people. Like I remember one weekend we had Greg Valentine with us, and he saw me work. He saw me work as Jerry, and he goes, "God, man," he goes, "You remind me of Beefcake so much." And I told him, I was like, "Yo, listen, here, let's do something. You, me, lace up our boots, and Beefcake be our manager, and we'll be the new dream team." And he was like, "I want to do that so bad." But he was like, he's got so many problems. His body's like, but in his mind, he's like, I want to do it. So, being able to hang out with these names, the Rock and Roll Express, I've gotten to kick it with them. Just very influential, man. Like, I don't know, like all my best memories aren't really in the ring. They're mostly like outside the ring with the big names, just sharing stories, laughing, and, you know, knowing that we're all in this together, that we all love the same sport, as hokey as it may be, to us, it's life, it's what we love, and it'll never die, and it's always going to be in our spirits and in our minds, in our hearts, and it fuels us, man, wrestling, kickboxing, MMA,
Yeah.
boxing, judo, those combat sports, man, you got to sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of dedication, your body, your mind, your best friends, your wives, your girlfriends, parents. You got to sacrifice that. Sometimes, you're not always going to be there for them in their times because you're off at a show trying to establish yourself. And most people that are in my life, they know that yeah, he's got to go to this gig, even though I wish he was here, like but in the end, I believe in the end there is going to be a big payoff. If I keep strong, I keep working out, I keep hitting the gym, I keep training, I keep watching wrestling, I keep socializing and networking. Someday my time will come. I've been there for other people who have succeeded me, like Thunder Rosa. I gave her a platform to be my manager as Kakameng for the first 2.5 years. And I told her from the minute that she was my manager, I knew it. I was like, listen, you're not going to be my manager forever. You're going to go and do everything that, you should be doing. And yeah, here she is, NWA Women's Champ, and
Yeah.
on TV every week. And, it's like, it makes me so happy and proud because she stole a lot of my gimmick, and I allow it.
Yeah.
And I always tease her about it. I'm like, hey, where'd you steal those dance moves, girl? She'll always deny it, but for me, it's like, I love it, man. That influences me, that, hey, man, yeah, you're still doing, a lot of indie shows, but dude, someday Gene Simmons is going to walk in that door just like he did for Van Halen. He's going to be like,
Yeah.
who is this guy? Let's bring him to New York. Let's bring him somewhere and see where it takes him, and I'm still holding out hope. We'll see.
No, there's no hope because it's gonna happen. It's
Uh,
absolutely gonna happen. I believe it. I believe it, 100%. Now, Ruben Garcia wants to know: does Jerry have a dream opponent? And we're gonna open this up, past or present, living or dead. Let's put
yeah,
it all on the table. Who would be a dream opponent? Because
man.
I would love to see you against Gorgeous George.
Oh,
In the 50s. I
wow.
think you guys
Yeah.
would tear the roof off of
Oh
any.
man,
I mean,
man.
Hollywood Legion Stadium, anything like that. But who
Wow.
does Jerry would want
Yeah.
to go get up against?
Yeah. Gorgeous George would definitely be one for sure. Macho Man. If I lived that time, if I was the same guy with the same dreams now, but I was born same time as the Mach, and growing up then, I probably would have been a somebody on TV. But like, yeah, Macho Man, would have been one of those guys I would have loved to have mixed it up with Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, have those guys, show me what's up, Scott Hall, man, in his prime as Razor, man. Oh my goodness, Ric Flair. That is my favorite wrestler of all time is the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And to mix it up with him would have been great. Brian Pillman, another one. Jushin Liger. So many people that I wish I could step in the ring with. Roddy Piper. My God, that would have been a slobber knocker, man. Just back and
Oh
forth
yeah,
trading licks. Jake Roberts. A personal favorite of mine was always the model Rick Martel. I
yeah,
love the model, the way he's great, such a graceful worker,
so
uh,
smooth.
smooth man. But nowadays, I would love to get in the ring with Sonny Kiss, Cody Rhodes, shit, guys on the indies that I've seen go, big stars like Carl Fredericks. He's a great friend of mine.
Yes.
I am proud to say that his sister, she claims that I am her favorite wrestler. Just saying, So I think that would be great for his sister to watch. But he's an amazing athlete. I would love to mix it up with him. Guys that I see, Will Hobbs, a good friend of mine that's making the rounds on AEW. Guys like that are making it. I want to be on that level too, man. You know, uh, who knows, right? You just never know. I've got into Tango with Bestia 666. I did a match with him in July for Fist, and he was like, "Man, we knocked it out of the park." He was really happy. He really liked me. Him and Mecha Wolf. They're like, when shit gets better, we want to bring you to the crash. Because Mecha Wolf really liked my match with Bestia, and like I said, like man, that was an ear shaker for me. I was like, whoa, that'd be great. The crash. I've been to that arena many times to watch wrestling there, and it's very there's some kind of like spiritual feeling you get there.
Yeah.
Seeing that crowd and it's amazing. But Jimmy Snuka would be another wrestler I'd love to get in there with. I've gotten lucky to wrestle some of my favorites. Like I said, I wrestled the Honky Tonk Man, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Time.
The
Yeah.
Godfather, man, the Godfather, Rikishi. These are the guys that I had their toys, their action figures, their posters, playing them in video games, and then here I am looking across the ring and saying, wow, I'm about to lock up with this guy. How is that real? But that's where chasing the dream, it really comes to life, man. You can't give up on yourself, man. I've given up on myself. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I have many times. But then at the same time, I say, you know what? You can't. You got to keep pushing, man. Keep trucking, keep trucking, man. You know, I just don't know where I would be without pro wrestling. The day that I made my mind up and I said I'm going to be a wrestler, I'm going to train. I never thought I'd mix it up with big names. Hell no. You know, I never thought for a million years I'd be across the ring from a honky tonk. Never, never in my wildest dreams. I've shared locker rooms with Drew McIntyre. Like, are you kidding me? That like, and then you see him, he's the WWE champ. Like, what? Are you kidding me? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. So the business has been good to me. And I've had my setbacks, but I've always wrestling's always been there, to pick me up. And yeah, man, I look forward to next year. hopefully things are good. Things are better, for everybody, so we can get back to normal and stuff like that, and entertain people the way, we've always wanted to, So
I,
yeah,
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Now,
yeah.
obviously, there have been so many that have helped and encouraged you through your journey, not only in life but also in pro wrestling. So let's get some acknowledgments and shout outs out of the way, my man.
Yeah, I mean everybody that's helped train me at Big Time Wrestling, be it Jason Styles, guys like my friend Steve, aka Chemo, guys like Ryan Von Cool, man, big guys like Sin, Tony Vargas. Those are my brothers, man. They trained me. They've kept my head strong. Like yeah, I know that I'm pretty good. I'm a natural at it, at being a wrestler. I think I'm a natural just because I've been watching it since the day I could remember. But these guys are the ones that humbled me, and made me realize, hey, you're a small fish still, brother. You're always going to be that. No matter even if you're a big name superstar someday, you're still a small fish to somebody else. And those are the guys like Bailey, her boyfriend Aaron Solo, guys and girls, man, like that have come into my life that have, influenced me and kicked my ass when I needed it, put me back down, humble status. I'm very thankful to all the promoters out there in the Bay Area that ever gave me a shot. People in Southern California as well that said, yeah, I'll take a chance on him, bring him out here and see what happens. And then I hit a home run with their crowd, and then they always go, I got to bring you back, man, because my crowd liked you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, fuck yeah, that's what I wanted. Above all else is make a good impression on the fans and the people, and hope to God that they allow me to come back. So I'm very, very thankful for all those promotions. All Pro Wrestling. That's where my first debut as Jherri Gigolo was, at All Pro Wrestling, tag teaming against Marty Jannetty. It was a 4-on-4
Whoa.
Survivor Series kind of match, and Marty was on the opposite team, and that was Jherri Gigolo's first debut. And I took a selfie with him, and he was like, "Bro, he's like, you're such a rocker." He's like, "It's not even funny. The mullet, the spandex, the jacket, like he's like, fuck, you're awesome." And I was like, "Dude, you're awesome. You were such an influence on me. It's like it's crazy, full circle. Those heroes of yours, idolizing as a kid, end up being your
Your
coworker for the
peers.
night, peer. Yeah,
Yeah.
even if it's just a few hours, you're still hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. All right, cool. Talk to you in a bit. Rather than some friend, crazy fan like, oh my gosh, you talk to him like a normal person. So I think that's always worked on my behalf, is that I never get starstruck. There's only two people in the world that I think I would ever get starstruck, uh, but they're not alive anymore. So yeah, and it's weird. Marlon Brando, I'd probably be like, holy crap. And then of course my female woman crush that isn't around, but Mrs. Robinson, man. Anne Bancroft. Those are my
Oh
two.
shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. I grew up watching a lot of old movies and classics, so Marlon Brando was the Godfather. I mean,
He's
shit,
God. Yeah.
Don Corleone, and then you had Mrs. Robinson that forever made me love older women for for the rest of my life. Anne Bancroft was it. So, but I don't get starstruck. Like I've met so many famous people, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's what he really looks like, but not tripping. But wrestling wise, no, I don't get starstruck either. I just nice to meet you, nice to work with you. Any tips? Cool. That's it. So yeah, kind
I
of funny
love
that way.
No, I love it. I love it. And
Yeah,
again, it exudes you, and you exude star power, which again, if you're in the business and you aren't exuding that star power, you kind of have to go like, what are you really doing? So I
yeah.
thank you for bringing the star power back to professional wrestling, and I
Oh
love it.
man, shit. I don't. It's just like with Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. It's like with my personality. I don't know what to do. I just show up there and hope to God, somebody, says, "Hey, what's up, dude?" That's really it. I'll do my work, I'll do my job, putting anybody over and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm still I'm still a geek, man. I collect comics. I collect Marvel Legends, man. I play drums. You know, I listen to rock, jazz, all sorts of stuff. I play with my cat. You know, like that's it, man. Jherri Gigolo, man, is like my Tony Clifton. You know, I'm Andy
Yeah,
Kaufman.
yeah,
There's Tony, you know, Clifton right behind me, you know, talking shit, and you know, where's you know, so that's kind of how that coincides. Like, you know, you got Eddie Brock, and then you got Venom, and then you know, you got the two of best of both worlds, I guess. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. No fucking.
yeah,
I love how we started off and then we got right back into Van Halen. That's fucking
yeah,
masterful. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying.
Oh yeah,
No, but
it's
bro,
life.
I mean, it's amazing. And again, I want everybody to know the enigma that is Jherri Gigolo. Now, for those who haven't already jumped on the Jerry train, where can
Hmm.
they find you on social media?
You know, I'm on social media. I got my Instagrams. I got my Facebooks. I'm on Twitter. I only have Twitter under my Kaka name, Kaka Meng. Everything's for you. So you can look up Jherri Gigolo and the number four, the letter U, you know, for you, and then Kaka Meng for you. Everything's for you. I'm not original. I just was like, well, it's for the people. It's not for me. So it's for you, you know. And it's been like that ever since. So like I'm on Snapchat. I think my Snapchat name is under Kakameng1 or Jerry Baby, which is like JHERI BEHBEH. I don't say baby. I go bebe. You know,
Baby.
like Dusty Rhodes, bebe. You know,
Baby,
like it's Saturday Night Live, baby. You know, we're here. We're live on the mothership, you know, if you
if you
will. So,
will.
if you
Ah,
will, exactly. So, you know, it's just how I roll, man. So, yeah, I'm on social medias. I'm on Instagram. I'm on there a lot. You know, lately I've been posting more videos and stories of just because I got bombarded by people going like, you don't post enough stories. I'm like, is that really a thing? So I started doing that more, and I'm like, oh, it is really a thing.
yeah,
So but it's also cool because I have musical friends that miss my playing. So I post videos of me playing and they're like, oh man, I miss that sound, or I miss the fact that you're not around closer to rock with us. And so it's kind of cool. And not just a wrestler, but you know, he's got his music thing on there too. And so, yeah, not just trying to be like, I only do one thing. I do a lot of things, man. I cook, clean, I do the dishes, you know, I do the laundry. I scrub the toilets still. Shit.
fuck,
So,
man. I mean,
you
you
know,
do it all, and you do it all well, my brother.
I think I do. Yeah, for the most part, I think I do all right, man. You know, I fake the funk pretty good.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah, you do, brother. No, man, it's been an honor and privilege just to know you, but I mean also to
No,
do this.
same.
This is almost like fucking 2 3 years in the making. So I'm finally. I mean, it's good that we finally kind of getting into it, and thank you guys for chiming in. This has been great. But he is Jerry Gigolo. I'm according to Woods. Oh, and Joss Beat says he's going to hit you up for a podcast as well. So shout out to
Link
Jazz
me
Beat.
up. Yeah, yeah. Find me, man. I'm on Instagram, JHERI GIGOLO for you. You can find me on Kakameng for you, KAKAMENG. See my lucha life. My persona is way different from Jerry, man. But please, anybody you know that watch this tonight, give me a follow, give me a link, give me something to check out. You know, tag me and stuff. I like being tagged and stuff. I don't feel bothered by people. Like, I have fans that just like, I have friends that are also in the business that are like, oh man, this girl always bothering me. I'm like, nah, I welcome it, man, because I'm not in this business just to be like a fly on the wall. I want to be known, you know. I want to share my stories, and I want to laugh at your stories too, and be friends with everybody, man. That's what this whole thing is all about, you know. So
That's exactly what it's all about. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
it
what it's
doesn't
all
matter.
about, man.
It doesn't matter if you like Hagar or if you like Roth, if you like this side of the
Yeah.
aisle or voted that way. It doesn't matter. We're all just trying to figure it out. And if we can all do that shit together, that makes it
Exactly,
all
man.
fucking fun.
That's it. You're right, man. That's it.
But
for
brother,
sure.
it is amazing. And again, a big shout out to I would say, I mean, the significant other of Jerry for the last year. Shout out and happy anniversary, and shout out to her dad whose birthday it is
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
So
Happy birthday, Jack! And if I can just say one thing,
absolutely,
I had a friend of mine, a big fan and a big fan of the wrestling business. He is from San Francisco. He's been a fan ever since he was a kid. His name's Robert, and he just underwent amputee leg surgery today. And my heart goes out to him. He's diabetic, and my brother's diabetic, and that's the worst. You know, that's the worst feeling to know that you have to lose a limb because of diabetes. So I want to give a nice heartfelt shout out. I know he's probably not listening, but I'll replay it for him. But I just want to let him know, hey, one love. Thank you for your support, and I want to support you and let you know that you're in my thoughts, man. And we lose a limb, we lose stuff in our lives, but as long as we don't lose our fighting spirit, we're gonna keep going and powering up. So, shout out to Robert.
shout out to Robert in almost in the vein of Dusty Rhodes. My hand is reaching out to your hand,
Yep, it
Robert,
really is,
and
man. It really is.
absolutely no, I mean, we fight with you, Rob. We
That's
fight with
right.
you.
Hmm.
But dude, it has been an honor. So fun, and I almost think that we should just like next time we do one of these things, we're just fucking talking about music. Like that's just because I mean I've got some Stuart Copeland shit, and
Oh man,
yeah,
Flo,
yeah,
we're now
we're,
see once you start name dropping guys, then we're not going to stop because Copeland, he's very influential to me as well, man. Not just his playing, but his ideologics.
yes,
He's a very interesting. I've watched a lot of him on YouTube. I can watch that guy talk all day, man. There's a lot of guys out there I can watch talk all day, and Copeland's one of them for sure. So.
fuck, fuck yeah, brother.
But
No,
thank you, hey Woods, man. Thank you so much, man. This has been a. I wish we were closer because you were one of those guys when I first met after my first match at Bumps and Bruises. And big shout out to Mike Haas for giving me that break. But man, you were one of those few guys, and I was like, oh man, this guy's full of crap. But no, I could tell sincerely, Adam, you're not just a homie. You're a good brother, bro. So I appreciate you, man.
well, I'm gonna
Definitely.
too sweet to you,
Yeah,
100%.
there you
There you
go.
go. There it is. Fuck yeah.
For
Because
sure. For
I mean,
life.
good brethren and good for life, right?
Yeah,
Good
that's it.
brethren and good sisterin is what it's all about.
That's it, man.
But thank you guys for watching. Jerry, thank you for your time. And
Thank you.
if you guys haven't already done so, I think you guys should maybe consider subscribing to According to Woods. But if you don't believe me and you don't believe Jerry, maybe Zeta Zang will kind of convince you. I'm just saying.